from Merriam, Abzan Agro. Both players look like they're on mulligans to 6. So working a little short here in round number 3, and that match will be underway here in just a moment. As Antrazi will start things off with a Temple of Plenty.
Abzan Agro is kind of a fascinating deck for me because I've never seen an aggressive deck with this level of customization. Both with the threats and the removal spells that people play, Abzan Agro can mean a whole lot of different things.
Looks like Antrazi misses his land drop, just has to pass the turn back. Here's a Thoughtseize from Merriam, so he wants to see exactly what Ali is working with. Going to show off this hand. We've got an Nylea, God of the Hunt, a Whisper Elemental, a Rattleclaw Mystic, 2 copies, a Prophet of Krufix, and a Master of the Unseen.
This almost felt like Ali was considering conceding in the face of this copy of Thoughtseize. Because
maybe.
Without Rattleclaw Mystic, this hand is nothing going on.
Yeah. And it's gone now.
Right. So I think that Ali feels like I might as well play on from this spot. He doesn't even know what Ross is playing just yet, but it looked like he was considering conceding because his hand is so bad now in the face of that Thoughtseize.
Temple of Plenty going to put the top card to the bottom. You saw Merriam play a Warden in the first tree. He'll have a 3rd land in Sandstep Citadel. Warden's going to grow a little bit. It'll be an attack here for 3. And Merriam will pass the turn back as Antrazi's down to 17. He's going to need to draw quite a few lands to get himself back into this game. His draw step for the turn was a Courser of Krufix. There's a Master of the Unseen. He'll pass the turn back over to Merriam. Merriam will serve in here for 3 yet again. Let's see if he has a follow-up like an Anafenza here. It looks like he does. That's going to be able to close the game out pretty quickly. Another Temple here. Merriam will take the top card. Going to put that to the bottom from the scry. We head back on Antrazi's way. He's able to draw a land and play his Courser of Krufix, which is, I suppose, pretty nice. Take a look at the top card here for Ali. It's a copy of Sylvan Caryatid. Pass the turn back. If Ross has one removal spell, though, this is probably over.
Yeah, and Dromoka's Command is especially good here.
Yeah. It'll just be an ultimate price. There's a Fleece main line here, the beatdowns. Let me attack here for 8. Of course, the Anafenza trigger will go on to the Warden of the first tree. Ali will take a draw step, but he already knows what it is, and he's not even going to bother doing that. Caryatid's not going to save him in this situation. And Ross Merriam's going to win game number 1 here over Ali Antrazi. Abzan Agro does win game number 1 over Bant midrange pretty quickly. Pretty easy stuff there for Ross.
Yeah, Ali's hand was speculative. I suppose both players were on 6 cards.
Yeah.
So a defensible keep, a green Temple alongside a Rattleclaw Mystic, but that hand did not have anything going on besides those 2 cards, and Ross's Thoughtseize too much to overcome.
Antrazi will be on the play here for game number 2, so we'll take a look at his sideboard first, which you have in front of you.
An Arbor Colossus, an Ugin the Spirit Dragon, 2 copies of Den Protector, a Bow of Nylea, a Plummet, 2 copies of Radiant Purge, a Negate, a Disciple Stroke, an Elspeth Sun's Champion, 2 copies of Dromoka's Command, 2 copies of Nylea's Disciple. I think you're likely to see the Dromoka's Commands come in here alongside the Den Protectors to synergize with the removal spells that he's bringing in. I think the Elspeth and even the Ugin can come in as Planeswalkers are very challenging for Abzan Agro to beat.
Just looking to go long is oddly. The longer the game goes, the better it is for him.
For sure.
On Ross's side, 2 Thoughtseize, 3 Duress, 3 Self-Inflicted Wound, an Ultimate Price, 2 Drown in Sorrow, 3 Wingmate Rock, and an Elspeth Knight Errant. The interesting thing about this is that Ross is not playing against normal decks, so his sideboarding, I think, is going to be a little interesting.
Well, I think the 3 copies of Self-Inflicted Wound are easy enough to bring in. I think the additional copy of Ultimate Price is safe as well. You know, he can anticipate that he's playing against threats like Whisperwood Elemental, given what he's seen out of Ali's deck. So I think those removal spells are pretty easy to bring in. I'm also in the market for Wingmate Rock. Sometimes these bad decks are all about blocking on the ground, and flyers can be very powerful against them sometimes.
We talked about Ali Antrazi's token that he won for winning the Season 2 Invitational, and there it is. If you're not familiar with this, it's going to be available on the Open Series very soon here, as well as in orders on Star City Games of $5 or more, but just take a look at this great Angel token.
Yeah, congratulations to Ali Antrazi winning the Season 2 Invitational in Columbus with a deck near and dear to your heart, Tron. Picture here with his son Aiden. Great for cards like, you know, Treat the Angels, for example. Guys of Saint Draft. This is going to be available soon when you enter either one of our Open Series main events, one of our Premier IQs, or place an order from StarCityGames.com for $5 or more.
Don't forget, if you're old like Patrick, Decree of Justice, too.
Decree of Justice.
Can't forget about that one. The Angel Maker.
There's probably some other, even more obscure card that I'm forgetting.
Most likely. There's some Angel Makers. I'm sure something from Avacyn Restored makes a 4/4 flyer.
I'd be shocked if that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Besides Entreat the Angels, of course. I'm sure there are some others out there. But a great token, and we will see Ali at the end of the year at the Players' Championship. Looking forward to that. Him, Jacob Wilson, Brad Nelson, Jim Davis, Kevin Jones. We got 5 so far. Wouldn't be surprised to see Ross there as well.
I would not be surprised also.
Maybe a little preview of things to come at the end of the year right here.
I think that Ross is a player who's going to get back one way or the other. He's in third place right now in our standings, and that's effectively first place as number 1 and number 2, Kevin Jones, Jim Davis, they're already qualified. Ross is having a very solid 2015, so even if he isn't able to qualify through season 3 or season 4 points, one of those at-large bids, which are based solely on 2015 results, I think I would be stunned if he missed.
Twitter chiming in, Sigil of the Empty Throne.
Oh, yeah.
Duh.
I lost to that card playing for the top 8 of a Legacy Open in like 2010 or 2011, in the very early days.
Was this when you were, okay, I'm going to guess Lou Christopher.
Lou Christopher.
Yes.
Playing Enchantress.
Always.
Beating my Rocks War Monk Bant deck full of cards.
These were darker days for you, sleeping up Rocks War Monk in Legacy.
Yeah.
We try to forget. I wasn't even going to bring it up. I thought that's where the story was going. I wasn't even going to bring it up.
Well, these were the pre-Abrupt Decay days. There were some decks that just couldn't beat that card.
A long time ago.
It's a long time ago. Simpler times.
Awesome.
Meddling Mage.
Yes.
Noble Hierarch.
Yes.
Swords to Plowshares.
Did you have Green Sun Zenith? Was it then? I don't even know.
I wasn't. If it was legal, I wasn't playing with it. I can't remember if it was legal and I just wasn't casting it or.
Some players chiming in Luminarch Ascension.
Also Luminarch Ascension. That's excellent.
Very good.
And that's a card where you would want a lot of copies. And Treat as well, I suppose.
Devin O'Donnell, one of my favorite people on Twitter. Nemesis Staple, Angelic Favor.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I should have had that one on the tip of my tongue, man.
It's really bad.
I'm just good looking out.
Devin, of course, a former Invitational top 8 competitor.
Heartbreak. I didn't have that one.
What do we even have you
Yeah,
here
no,
for?
seriously.
I don't understand. I come with the new stuff, you come with the old stuff.
Right.
Boom.
And 2007 or 2008 is our respective blind spots. It's around the same time.
Yeah, a little bit. I think those were like the Shadowmoor days, Lorwyn Shadowmoor stuff.
I was out of Magic at that point.
I was not playing as heavily then. I was doing like this college internship thing. Ugh, yuck. Both players are going to take a look at their opening hands right now. Antrazi will be on the play. Looks like he has kept his opening hand. Players do have the green light. Ali, what land is he going to start things off with here? He'll go with the Temple of Plenty. Take a look at that top card. It'll stay on top very quickly for Antrazi. Merriam with the Sansep Citadel. He'll pass back to Antrazi, who does have a copy of Elvish Mystic. Does he have a land to play? He does in Temple of Mystery. Time for him to scry yet again. One thing about Ali, he loves those big mana strategies. We know that.
Yes. Not surprising to see Ukin, for example, hanging out in his 75. He likes to just play a lot of mana and then do awesome things with a lot of mana.
That's his thing.
That's his thing.
Let's see what Ross has for turn number 2. He'll play a Windswept Teeth. He's down to 19. There is a basic Plains. It's a self-inflicted wound. Got to get that Elvish Mystic off the battlefield. We'll pass the turn back over to Antrazi, who will take a draw step here.
If I'm playing against Ali, I'm happy to play every Stone Rain and kill every mana creature I can get my hands on.
Breaking news, Patrick wants to play every Stone Rain. This is really something new.
Ali is one of the most Stone Rainable people out there.
Yes.
You know, that's part of it too. We all have our biases. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't enjoy that in general. What I'm saying is, if this guy has got 5 lands in play and 5 cards in his hand is saying go, I believe he can't cast anything.
Sure.
I don't think he's got some instant over there.
Here's that offensive from Merriam. You saw last turn, Antrazi play a Courser of Crufix. Elspeth was the reveal. That'll be his draw step for the turn. Let's see what's next. A Den Protector. Does have Nykthos in hand. 3-color Nykthos deck.
Classic.
Yeah.
Love it.
There is Nykthos. That'll trigger Courser so long as Antrazi does remember, which it appears he does. Let's see what's next here for our Season 2 Invitational Champion. It'll be, I believe, Radiant Purge?
Yes.
Yes, if memory serves. I'll take care of the Anafenza and now an attack here for 2. We go back to Merriam.
Interesting thing about Abzan Aggro is that deck gets a lot of splash damage from color hate because it's touching a lot of colors.
Yes, yes.
Radiant Purge and Self-Inflicted Wound, both solid cards.
Both good cards against this deck, absolutely. Time for Merriam to go into the tank a little bit here. Knows the Den Protector's on top of his opponent's deck. Unclear if Antrazi will have land number 5 or not. But does have to worry about maybe another Radiant Purge on the way. Ross in the tank here on turn number 4. Looks like he does have a land to play in Llanowar Waste. He'll have to take one. Looks like a Siege Rhino's on the way. He'll get a trigger, of course. Life totals will change a little bit here. We'll be heading back to Antrazi. Den Protector the draw. Now, Afara. I'm sure that Ross was not expecting to see that. Yes. God of the Polis.
I mean, the only thing that's preventing Ali from running away from this game right now is just the land drops. With Den Protector, Radiant Purge in the graveyard, Elspeth in hand, if he just goes land number 5, land number 6, he's got all the tools he needs. But without mana, his deck is not doing a whole lot.
He even has a copy of Prophet of Krufix in hand. Master of the Unseen. Everything he does requires a lot of mana.
Yeah. There's some hesitation here about Mastery because this opens him up to some pretty bad Dromoka's commands blowouts.
Indeed.
But Dromoka's command was already going to be horrible for him if it showed up because he really needs this Courser to stay around.
Here comes the Rhino. Antrazi going to go down to 12. See what the follow-up is here for Merriam. It'll be a copy of Fleece's Line. And now Rashasha Death Dealer.
Not the end of the world here for Ali. At least he's keeping his Courser for one more turn.
The Temple puts the top card to the bottom there for Merriam. Afara will be the draw. Flooded Strand is key.
There it is.
And Windswept Teeth on top of the deck, though Antrazi may need to sacrifice this Flooded Strand right now to use the mana, so he'll have to shuffle away the Windswept Teeth. Life's total will stay the same, of course, but now he's starting to get a little something going.
Land number 5, a second source of white mana for Elspeth. That was a huge draw. If Ali missed for one more turn there, I think that might have been too much to overcome. His hand's just too cumbersome. Now he's got a window here for Prophet of Krufix.
Some real shenanigans. Prophet, untap everything.
Mastery token.
Yep. Pretty good turn. You got to hope that Ross doesn't have a lot going on over there, but you can't really control that. Take a look at the top card. It's a Courser.
Now you can Mastery the Courser, Unmorph Courser. Now you got 5 green mana symbols in play for the Nykthos.
Yep.
Now we got something going.
We call that a stew.
Now we got something going. Yep. Took a little while, but now Ali's starting to get a little traction here.
Merriam will draw. He's got a Siege Rhino, a Fleece's Line, or Rashasha Death Dealer in play. Quite a bit of mana. Can go monsters with that Fleece's Line if he'd like. Couple pumps on the Death Dealer too. What he's doing is not as splashy as what Antrazi's doing, but it is still effective.
Though Ross knows he's kind of running out of time here. He knows that Elspeth is coming, maybe not next turn, but soon enough.
Into the tank goes Merriam, number 3 on our Season 3 leaderboard. If things ended today, he'd be qualified for our Players' Championship. So this is a very important tournament for him, and he's got to get by a very good opponent here in Antrazi to get his day started. He's going to shrug his shoulders. I think we might see everybody coming to the red zone here.
He can't wait.
Yep. We see players come to that conclusion all the time of, you know what, I just got to get in here. Now let's not forget, you get to play creatures at instant speed here.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of what Prophet of Krufix will allow you to do. So a face-down Den Protector, which will also allow Antrazi to flip it up and get back that Radiant Purge. So some real nice options here for Ali.
Have you ever played against Prophet in draft?
Once or twice.
It is a nightmare.
You can't win.
Yeah, you cannot win. If your opponent has any spells left over, you're done.
We'll see some blocks here in just a moment. Unclear what the best blocks are in this situation.
Well, I think that what Ali wants to do is just block in such a way to jam up Ross's mana here. This block right here is basically saying to Ross, you can either pump your Death Dealer and keep that alive, or you can go monstrous with the Fleece's Lion and get Courser off the table, but you can't do both.
You're going to lose something.
Right. Or he's bouncing off. He can
Sure.
pump the Death Dealer once, but then Ali gets to go into the next turn with the Courser Crew Fix, which is very valuable for him.
Den Protector's going to unmorph. There'll be some life gain because Mastery's on the battlefield, which is important here for Antrazi, because everything he's trying to do right now is just keep his head above water.
Yep, and this is a great turn to that end. He's still going to get the Courser Crew Fix to come in the next turn. He's going to be able to get back a removal spell or a land as appropriate.
Might just want the land because he has Elspeth in hand.
It's a very healthy life total.
Yep. Yeah, he's going to get back Radiant Purge. Den Protector's going to bite the dust. Fleecebane Lion and Courser Crew Fix, they'll look at each other. Siege Rhino will deal the damage. Prophet had no interest in blocking there. The follow-up here from Merriam is a Temple of Malady. Take a look at that top card. We'll see where it goes from the Scry trigger. It's going to go to the bottom pretty quickly here for Ross. Looks like he'll have to take one to maybe play a Warden of the first tree. He will. We'll pass the turn back on Antrazi's way. His draw will, of course, be Courser of Crew Fix. Let's see what's next here. It's a Sylvan Curiated. That's actually something he's probably happy to fetch away.
Oh, for sure. It looked like he took back Radiant Purge last turn.
Oh, so, okay. Excuse me. I was expecting the Strand to come back.
Yeah, this play is a little bit risky. But Ali is working with a lot of mana, and he's got a lot of stuff in his hand. So even if he missed on land number 6 there, he still gets to put a lot of stuff on the table.
Still gets to play.
I mean, with Prophet, he gets to do a lot of stuff.
Yep.
So he went for a play that looks pretty risky on the surface, but I actually don't think it's that risky because he has a lot of mana to work with and a Radiant Purge.
And he can hit land here because he's manifesting right away.
Yes.
Now that's a Whisper Elemental, so that's not a land.
But he still has the resources left over to pass the turn here and cast Courser plus Radiant Purge.
Yep.
Which is a lot, you know? It's not as good as hitting land number 6 and casting Elspeth, but this is still not the end of the world.
So Ali gets to untap, and so does Ross. Ross, as you saw, activated his Warden of the first tree. It's level 1 right now, so it's a 3/3. He's still got the Death Dealer, the Fleecebane Lion, the Siege Rhino out there as well. Looks like just one card in hand, so we will take a draw step. Now, one thing to keep in mind with this Abzan aggro deck that Ross is playing, he's got 26 lands in his deck. So him having 6 lands in play, some would consider that an aggressive deck flooding, but not this aggressive deck.
Well, there are a lot of mana sinks. Rakshasa Death Dealer, Fleecebane Lion. You sideboard into some big spells like Wingmate Rock sometimes. Sometimes these decks have access to an Elspeth. And the colored mana situation of this deck is also shaky enough that you kind of need an extra land just for colored mana, not even quantity of mana. So looks like a lot, but there's a lot of things for this deck to dump mana into. You want to hit at least 4 land drops in every game. And if you hit 5 or even 6, you usually have stuff to do.
Here come the Knuckleheads. Siege Rhino, Fleecebane Lion, and the Death Dealer coming into the red zone. And that will be a Radiant Purge right there. That'll take care of the Death Dealer for good. Of course, an exiling effect doesn't play a huge role in this matchup, I don't think.
Sometimes there's Den Protectors hanging out on the sideboard.
Yeah, you might find 1 or 2 in Abzan aggro. See where Ross's follow-up is going to be here. Looks like another copy of Fleecebane Lion. Pass the turn back. Antrazi gets the opportunity to play a Courser on the end step because of the Prophet. Now he'll untap. So we're going to go on Antrazi's turn. His draw is a Whisper Elemental. The top card is a Windswept Teeth. You'll get 2 triggers from Coursers there. Antrazi going to go up to 7. Obviously a huge draw with Elspeth in hand.
Well, at this point it wasn't even necessary because the Nykthos is a lot of mana.
That's
he
true.
could actually cast Elspeth even without, but definitely nice for him to hit a 6 land drop here.
So we could see an even bigger turn.
Yes.
Going to sacrifice the Windswept Teeth. He'll take 1 and gain 2, so it'll actually be a positive life gain. He's up to 8. Is the Season 2 Invitational Champion. And we'll see what's going to come next here for Ali, but I'm expecting some fireworks here over the next couple of turns because he's finally got the mana online, and as we know with Antrazi and his big mana decks, once the mana's online, that's where the real fun begins.
Well, he gets to play, I don't know if he has quite enough mana, but he's about to set up a Farah plus Elspeth, which is a pretty sweet setup. Whisperwood Elemental as well.
Yep.
What I'm hoping Ali is able to accomplish in this game is to activate Nykthos for green mana symbols, and then also get the Devotion to Afara enabled. That would be quite the accomplishment. So let's see if he can pull it off here. Nykthos for green, and unlock the Devotion requirement for Afara to attack in the same game.
I hope so. Does he have like a bingo sheet?
Yeah, is that Ali Antrazi bingo?
Yeah. Looks like we might have a manifest here. Okay. I don't know what road he wants to go down.
Well, I think he just wants a big setup turn here, and then cast Afara on Ross's turn, and then cast Elspeth on his own turn. That's the sense I'm getting right now. But who knows? We'll see.
I don't know if you want to get into the mind of Ali Antrazi when he's got a lot of mana.
Yeah, we'll just see how this plays out.
You saw it manifest twice, pass the turn back. Ross activated his Warden of the first tree, so now it's level 2, and it can actually go to the top rope if it wants to.
But that might not be good enough.
I don't know if that's going to be good enough this game. Ross's turns are so straightforward where Ali's are anything but.
Yeah, I mean, Ross is sort of, there's not a lot for him to do except just Alpha Strike every turn and kind of hope for the best.
Yeah.
If he tries to measure this, you know, attack with Warden and threaten a big pump and hold back my Fleecebane Lion, so on following turns I can attack and go monstrous, Ali is going to easily overpower it at this stage. But I don't think Alpha Strike's going very far either, so.
And this is another classic shrug your shoulders, send them all in. Or send most of them in turn here for Merriam. Coursers are going to block Fleecebane Lions. I think Ali is perfectly fine saying your Siege Rhino gets to come through because I can gain life in a moment's notice.
Yeah, I mean, if he has one Unmorph here, he's actually net positive in terms of life inside of combat.
Yep, and he's got an Elvish Mystic as one of those manifests, so that's cheap and easy. Merriam going to pass the turn back. What's next for Mr. Antrazi? Here's 2 mana. Gonna unmorph. Maybe the Caryatid, I think, is down there as one of those manifest creatures. Maybe he'll activate Nykthos first to get a bunch of green mana and then move forward.
Yeah, he can basically float a bunch of mana here, unmorph a couple creatures, play Afara, untap, cast Elspeth. That's probably good enough, I'm guessing. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
I hope it's good enough. See some life going to be gained here, unmorphing Courser, unmorphing Caryatid. And now he gets to cast Afara. Nice. He's up to 16.
Yep.
Alrighty then. Windswept Heath is the draw.
Took us a little while to get into 5th gear, but now we're really revving.
The second Nykthos is a little greedy in the deck. I'm just going to put that out there.
Obviously.
The first one was already a little over the top. I think the second one is real greedy. Windswept Heath is the land. You'll get some Courser triggers from that. Ali, I believe, going up to 19 now. But this is just Antrazi's style, man.
Yep. An embarrassment of riches.
It really is. Once he gets the mana online for his decks, he gets to go absolutely nuts. It is truly something. Looks like 8 green from Nykthos.
We might have activate Nykthos for green mana and attack with Afara in the same turn.
Yep. I think Afara right now is 1 away from going live. 2 for itself, 1 from Mastery is 3, 1 from Prophet is 4, 2 from Elspeth is 6.
Yep.
Here's 3 soldier tokens. Those don't count towards devotion, unfortunately. Can we change his name to the Ali Antrazi bingo card deck?
I would love to do that.
Yeah. Let's just call it bingo.
20 slots and just, or I guess, you know, whatever the math. Yes, 25 slots.
Yeah.
That's what you would want. 5x5 board. and you just check it out over the course of the tournament.
Did you attack with a Fara in your base green deck? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I did. Did you ever have an opening hand with both Nykthos? Yes. Yes, I did.
Hard cast Emrakul a second time. Yes.
Did that too. That was easy. All right. Warren of the first is up to the top rope, but that's weird to say that doesn't matter that much, but it really doesn't. Antrazi gets to untap everything. He gets to draw a card from his Afara trigger. So we'll see if he gets to untap with Profit or not. So I do not believe that untapping with Profit is a trigger. I think it's just you take an untap step 2. Right. So I think we have a Fara on the stack. We might get a Manifest activation. Looks like we're going to get a Nykthos activation. Yeah, we're going to get a Nykthos activation for green mana here. And then probably some activations of Master of the Unseen. Yep, so there goes Rattleclaw. Let's see what's next. Carry added. Probably don't want to draw that one. That's going to get manifested.
And guess what? These Mastery Unmorphs, they gain a lot of life now.
Yeah, they do. Courser. Ross has had enough. No more. I was wondering how much longer he was going to stay in the sleeper hold.
Here's the thing. Every turn's going to take a really long time.
Yeah.
And you can't possibly win. So it goes on for as long as you want it to, but just keep those two things in mind.
You can't get out of this, and I don't mind continuing to do it.
And it's not, with your Fleece Mane Lions Monstrous and your Ward of the First Tree hanging out there, it's going to take a while. It's going to be a slow burn.
Just a little bit of time there as Ali Antrazi is going to win game number 2 against Ross Merriam.
And that's so great, too, because, Ali is playing an Ali Antrazi deck. There's a lot of weird stuff going on.
Indeed.
There's a lot of value in playing that game out to see what he reveals to Corsair Crewfix, because I have no idea what's in Ali's deck, and Ross probably doesn't know for sure, but I think Ross had just hit the ceiling of his patience with that.
We call that the breaking point.
Just couldn't handle anymore.
Yeah.
Could not handle any more of it.
Well, for those of you unfamiliar with Ross Merriam, you should watch the Open Series more because we see a lot of them, but a very accomplished Magic player, 26-year-old from Middleton, Connecticut. You can see the career highlights right here.
Exactly. 2 Invitational top 8s, 13 Open Series top 8s with 2 wins. Got his first Grand Prix top 8 earlier this year in Cleveland. He's very into trivia, very good at Jeopardy, and very passionate about tennis as well.
And this cereal, I can't get over this. This isn't even him. I thought maybe he was trying to maybe troll us. This is true.
Yep.
And he never puts milk in his cereal and drinks a glass of milk on the side.
Yep.
So I envision, I don't even know how that works. So you have your bowl, you pour your Cinnamon Toast Crunch in the bowl, and then you pour your glass of milk, and then do you just take a scoop of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and then have a sip of milk?
I don't know. That sounds right to me, but that seems way worse than just having it in the milk.
It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it needs the milk.
Right.
They're a team.
I would ask for clarification from Ross, but I also just don't want to go down that rabbit hole with him. I don't want to know what prompted him to start doing this or what the motivation is. So.
Do you think at some point he was hanging out with friends and they all put milk in their cereal and he was like, what are you guys doing?
Right. Exactly. What are you doing?
Yeah. But there is Ross Merriam, number 3 on our season 3 leaderboard here on the Open Series, and just got destroyed last game by Ali Antrazi's big mana engine. So for game number 3 here, he needs to end the game quickly. Longer it goes, worse it gets.
Yeah, and I think the real secret there is Ross was unable to kill Corsair Crewfix, and even though it took Ali a while, once he started hitting his land drops, Ross can't really come back. So, Hero's Downfall, especially Dramoka's Command. These are the kind of cards that Ross needs, as many as possible, on top of a quick clock. That's the game plan here.
Some players believe that was not standard. That was actually a game of Commander we just watched.
It was pretty close.
It felt very Grand Prix Miami-esque.
Yeah. Although a little less smooth because Ali with the 3rd color, a little more lands that come into play tapped, but once he got Profit plus mana plus his shop set up, no coming back.
And you got to feel confident about putting 2 copies of Nykthos in this deck.
The second copy of Nykthos is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty greedy.
You want to play with 1 because, there's spots where it's really powerful to have and I can afford a colorless land. Okay, I'll buy it. Second one, not so sure.
That's cool. I can see 1. Some situations manifest themselves where you get to go crazy.
2 is a lot.
that's on the bingo card. Opening hand is, you know, Afara, Elspeth, Courser,
Forest,
Nykthos, and what's the other fun of in his deck?
Nylea, God of the Hunt.
Perfect, that's the opener.
Oh, that's another bingo board slot. Attack with Afara and Nylea in the same turn.
Oh, perfect. That is nice.
Let's see if we can get that going. I know that's a subset of the activate Nykthos for green one, but it's way more funny.
Both players going to keep their opening hand. We're underway here in game number 3. Merriam just going to play a basic force and pass the turn back. That tells you a lot about his opening hand, I think.
Yep. Maybe missing colors of mana. This is not, you don't want to open up on basic forest with this deck unless you have a Warden.
Heir of the Wilds is where he will begin things, however. Antrazi just had a basic force. Now he's got a Windswept Teeth. Looks like he's going to sacrifice that. Play Rattleclaw Mystic. I imagine a Plains, though it could be a forest that he does search up. He will go with the basic Plains. Merriam here with a Temple. Top card goes to the bottom from the Scry. Does he have maybe a self-inflicted wound to get this Rattleclaw Mystic off the board? It appears that is the case. Certainly good to slow down Antrazi's mana. The strategies that he likes are always a lot of mana.
The problem right now, though, Ross, you see, without white mana. And if Obzon Aggro does have a stumbling point, it is the colored mana situation in this deck is not great. Part of the reason the deck plays 26 lands, or a lot of people like 26 lands.
Antrazi with an island. And now a Morph. Could be a Dead Protector, could be a Rattleclaw Mystic. For all Ross knows, it could be a Sagu Mauler. Who knows?
That's why I would have played out that game. You don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
You definitely don't know what's going on there.
Merriam with his Heir of the Wilds. Looks like he picked up a copy of a basic Plains. That's timely. I think he may have been missing that before. So all the colors of mana are online now here for Merriam.
Tiffany Wynn to silence, please.
Dramoka's Command in hand. Don't know if he wants to cash that one in just yet. Dramoka's Command's very, very good against Ollie's deck.
I agree. Ross has a pretty straightforward play here. Dramoka's Command for +1/+1 in fight looks pretty good, but Dramoka's Command is so powerful against Ollie's deck, I think he's trying to see if there's another route he can take.
Well, he's going to use it right now. Rattleclaw Mystic is killed. Merriam's going to get in here for 3 points of damage. Had the option to play Anafenza that turn instead, but he decided to get the Morph off the battlefield. We'll see if that was the correct play, as here's a Temple.
And Ross playing one copy of Heir of the Wilds, I think just as another 2-drop. He's got 4 Death Dealers and 4 Fleecemane lines. But you can see in Ollie's hand right now, there is a copy of Radiant Purge. If this had been any other 2-drop, Ollie kills it and is making his land drops at his own pace. Now this game is getting pretty rough for him because it's randomly Heir of the Wilds.
Here's Anafenza. Ollie wants to take a look at Heir of the Wilds, make sure he knows how Ferocious does work. Certainly does make sense. We'll have a Radiant Purge here, perhaps in a moment. Looks like Ollie is going to be calling a judge over here for a moment. We'll find out what the ruling is here in just a second. He'll step away from the table, it appears. Wants to know exactly how Ferocious does work with Heir of the Wilds, I believe is the question here. But you make a very, very good point. With if this had been Fleecemane Lion or Death Dealer, we're looking at a completely different game, actually.
Yeah, Ollie's at 12 right now. Even with Radiant Purge, he's looking at falling to 9. And that is all Heir of the Wild damage. There's nothing else that's happened this game.
You see, whenever Heir of the Wilds attacks, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So if Ross is able to get to the attack step, that's when it'll become a 4/4.
Yeah.
I think Ollie's going to try to prevent him from doing that. And that might be why the judge call is being made right now. Again, remember that Ollie does have a copy of Radiant Purge in hand, which can take care of that Anafenza, which would certainly be useful to say the least.
Yep, still 3 points of damage, but...
Ladies and gentlemen,
and there is the Radiant Purge.
Yep. You can also trigger the attack. Yep. And then, because it has to be true on announcement and on resolution, so this works too.
Merriam will play a Temple. See where that top card's going to go. It moves down to the bottom. Over to Antrazi we will go now. Deathmist Raptor appears to be the draw. Here is Profit. Profit, a perfect little card in this deck for Ali.
David Long and Harlan Firer to the main event stage, please.
Air has no choice but to attack, but it's a safe attack because of Death Touch.
Yep.
It's safe-ish. Here's Death Miss Raptor, instant speed. Death Touch here for both players. Merriam with an ultimate price. Antrazi will go down to 6 now. Does not want to block with his Profit. The follow-up is the Fleece main line, past that turn back. Antrazi will untap. He's at 6. Looks like he may have picked up another copy of Profit. He'll play a Flooded Strand to start. Now here's a Whisper Elemental, and this is where things can get a little out of control. He'll get the Manifest, and now he'll get to untap everything.
Board is starting to get locked up a little bit. Ali is low, but he's not that low. It's a dangerous point in the game here on Ross's side. He does have the option of going Monstrous with Fleece Main Lion. That sets him up for 2 relatively safe attacks. He can attack with the Fleece Main Lion. His Air of the Wild becomes a 4/4 Death Toucher. And that requires some response from Ali.
Yep.
He doesn't necessarily have to do this preemptively, as a 3/3 Air of the Wilds and a 4/4 Air of the Wilds is the same card for the purposes of Ali's blocks. But Ross needs to get Whisperwood Elemental off the table as soon as possible, because if that is left in play, especially alongside Prophet of Krufix, Ali's going to be able to block pretty easily for the rest of the game.
Some pretty quick blocks here. Looks like Ali is going to reassess some things now, because he was moving and grooving on those blocks. Yeah, the Wilds right now is a 3/3 in the red zone. As is Fleece Main Line. Fleece Main Line can become a 4/4 at any moment. See the light totals here, 20-6 in favor of Merriam.
The issue that Ali's in right now, assuming that Manifest token is not very much, is that he can't make any inroads on Ross's board unless he's willing to block with Whisperwood Elemental or double block. And he has to keep Whisperwood Elemental alive to be able to generate enough stuff to be able to block for a while and draw out of this.
Profit looks like it's going to go there. That's with the Manifest. Leads you to believe the Manifest is nothing.
Yeah.
If this is the block. Now Ali's going to play a Profit now here at instant speed. So the one that he loses doesn't matter all that much because he's still going to get to have one. So both those creatures are going to die. Air of the Wilds will die. Antrazi going to go down to 3. That's risky to go down to 3. There's an alternate price on the Whisperwood Elemental.
There was no way for Ali to avoid this unless he was willing to double chump block or get Whisperwood Elemental involved. And I think that he has to keep Whisperwood.
There's the Temple. Take a look at that top card. It's going to become the bottom card here for Antrazi, it appears. And he's empty-handed. Profit does not win a fight against Fleece Main Lion. Merriam will draw a card. Send it in. He's got a block. Merriam's done a really nice game of navigating this game. Now he's tapping a bunch of mana. It's going to make his Fleece Main Line monstrous, play a Temple. Top card, we'll see where it goes. It's going to stay on top here for Ross. Antrazi will draw a card. I think it was a copy of Nykthos. It was, and that's going to do it. Ross Merriam going to win this match here over Ali Antrazi. 2-1. Abzan Aggro will take care of the innovative Bant mid-range deck. And for number 3 on our Season 3 leaderboard, starts his day with a win.
Ali never got to any payoff card in that third game except for Whisperwood Elemental. It showed up a